My children have mastered I don't know if they've studied Sun Tzu, the art of war, but they've mastered the art of torture. They will walk back and forth 29 times while I'm trying to watch something and say, can I go outside now? And you say, no, can I go outside? And eventually, it's not that they deserve to go outside, it's just that we want some peace. Just go anywhere, just don't play in traffic, but I need some peace. So sometime between 4 and 24, we learn to stop asking. Sometimes between 4 and 24, we actually started taking no for an answer. Now, if you've ever been around a child in a supermarket, you know and I know how well no works on a child. It doesn't work so good. But the older we get, the more we begin to accept the fact that we can't have what we want. And then all of a sudden, we begin to say, not only can I not have what I want, but somehow I deserve the little that I have. The object of our lives in leaving this graduation today and moving forward is to develop an unstoppable life. A life that says, I don't care what you do to me, I'm not going to stop. I was thinking as I was preparing about Howard Thurman, who actually became the chancellor and chaplain for Morehouse College, a very historically black college. In 1923, he graduated as the valedictorian of his class. When before that, he testified that his teachers in school suggested that he get a labor job and never try to comprehend anything because he was slow. Mr. Thurman, when he began to evolve his career as an educator and as a speaker, they asked him one day, they said, what is it that you did? What is it that happened that changed your life so dramatically? And he said these words. He said, I learned that there was a crown above my head that I had to grow tall enough to wear. He learned that there was a crown above my head that I have to grow tall enough to wear. I want you to wipe the idea out of your mind of trying to get a blessing. I want you to wipe that out of your mind. You don't have to try what you already are. There is something, there is a seed of greatness that's on the inside of us that you cannot get rid of. I've had a lifestyle where when I left Virginia Beach in 1992, I was so much hooked on drugs that when I moved in with my sister in Philadelphia, they had to hide the NyQuil. They had to hide the drugs that were in the house, the legal medical drug, because they knew that I was coming to town. And I had a mindset that my life was going to be the sum total of what I was experiencing at that moment. But the reality of it is, once I realized who I was, and I didn't have to try to get anything on the outside, but that everything I needed was on the inside of me, I began to grow into what I was destined for. So much so that last year I wrote a book called Groomed for Greatness, because I believe the people that I meet, the people that I empower, the people that help me are already great. We just didn't realize it. There's a big difference between help and empowerment. When you help someone, you tell them you didn't have the ability to do this yourself. When you empower someone, you tell them everything you need is already inside of you. I'm just going to help you find the switch and flip it on. It's like walking into a room and knowing that there's a light there. Have you ever gone into a restroom at a restaurant or somewhere where you're not familiar, and for the first 2 minutes of being in this room, you're dark and you're hitting the walls because you're trying to find what you know is in there, a light. This is what's been happening before we came to KRA, before we met each other, before you went through the program. You were hitting around trying to find the light. And these people didn't help you as much as they empowered you, because the light was already there. They just helped you find the switch. I want to close with the strategy, because they say that the only thing on earth that's unstoppable is an idea that's come to its time. Let me say that again. The only thing on earth that's unstoppable is an idea who's finally reached its time. If we're going to be unstoppable, we have to develop a strategy. A strategy is simply military terms that mean I'm going to plan something out. It has a plan and it has a time. If you don't remember anything else I say today, please remember those 2 words. It's not right until it has a plan and it has a time. If it doesn't have that, if it doesn't have a time on it, it's just a dream. It's just a really nice, well-disguised wish that you have. And that's like the people that sit around and say, well, I wish I could, move to California. I wish. If you never add a plan and a time to it, you're never going to do it. It's amazing. I've been going from the Hampton Roads area since 1992. I just moved back here in August of 2011, and I'm meeting people, and they're doing the exact same thing they were doing in 1992. Because without a plan and a time, we're destined to repeat the same cycle over and over again.